It's time to share a betting pick on each of the Week 5 NFL games. Last week we posted a nice 10-6 record against the spread. But more importantly, we had great success once again on the high confidence plays. In fact, the picks receiving an A grade picked up a perfect 3-0 record, after going 4-0 the week before. In other words, we have won each of the past 7 selections rated A. That includes the famous weekly Lobster bet. For those of you who are not familiar with the concept yet, we're talking about the absolute best wager in the NFL each week. Prior to week 3, I said on the record that we would go 4-1 across the next 5 weeks. We have gone 2-0 since then, so we are on our way to meet those expectations. If you want to join our other 70+ savvy sports investors who have signed up to receive the Lobster bet for week 5, which concerns the Patriots versus Bills game, just follow the link below in the comments. My number one goal is to grow your bankroll. Alright, without further ado, let's dive into the Week 5 NFL predictions. Buckle up, let's go! In London, the Vikings will be battling the Cleveland Browns in what will be Dillon Gabriel's NFL debut. Even though Minnesota has an edge from being already in Europe the week before, my final call is to go with the Browns plus 4.5 points. This prediction gets a grade of B. Joe Flacco has been miserable. He completed just 58% of his passes while throwing just 2 TD passes versus 6 interceptions. The offense has generated 16, 17, 13, and 10 points in the first 4 matches of the season. That's unacceptable. Things cannot be worse than this, right? Making a QB change will lift the players' spirits. They will be more motivated to work hard. See what happened in New York with the Giants and Jackson Dart. Also, Gabriel fared well in preseason games, completing 68% of his passes. He also obtained 7.4 yards per attempt, which is significantly higher than Flacco's 5.1 average. There has been one bright spot for Cleveland's offense: rookie running back Quinton Judkins. He is averaging 4.8 yards per carry while scoring a couple of TDs. The good news for Cleveland is that Minnesota's pass defense has been rock solid, but they have not done well defending the run. Indeed, they rank 26th in the NFL in terms of opponent EPA per play on the ground. That's a weakness that the Browns can certainly exploit. I also expect Carson Wentz to be in big trouble. He has been sacked 9 times in 2 games, and now he is facing the tough Browns defense led by Myles Garrett. To make matters worse, Minnesota's offensive line is depleted by injuries. Right tackle Brian O'Neill will miss the game, while Ryan Kelly and Donovan Jackson are also at risk of being out of the lineup. Good luck with that! For these reasons, I find it unlikely that the Vikings will win by a margin of 5 points or more, which explains my bet on Cleveland plus 4.5. Up next, I am taking the Raiders plus 7 at Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis. My confidence level is not super high, so I will opt for a C grade here. Prior to last week, the Colts had yet to face a good offense. In fact, they had played against the Dolphins, the Broncos, and the Titans. Then their defense got exposed a little bit as they surrendered 462 total yards to the Rams in Week 4. It shows that their defense may not be as good as the public is led to believe. Meanwhile, the Raiders dominated total yardage 357 to 271 against the Bears, but they lost by a single point after committing 4 turnovers. They won't make the same mistakes again. Rookie running back Ashton Jeanty finally broke out after 3 disappointing performances. He racked up 138 yards on the ground after not exceeding 63 in any of his first 3 contests in the NFL. The Vegas defense has shown good flashes so far this season. Max Crosby was all over the field last week against the Bears, and now he will be chasing Daniel Jones. The latter went mistake-free during the first 3 games, but last week he threw 2 interceptions while fumbling the ball once. In my mind, this game will be closer than expected. I will side with Las Vegas and the extra 7 points. A couple of bad teams are squaring off against each other as the Giants will take on the Saints in New Orleans. For some unknown reason, I've been bad at handicapping games featuring 2 poor teams, no matter the sport. That's why I did not hesitate to grade this pick as a C. Ultimately, I have decided to take the Saints moneyline. Let me summarize quickly why I am siding with New Orleans in this spot. Both teams have very similar metrics, both on offense and defense. However, the G-Men just lost their best offensive weapon, Malik Neighbors, and they are on the road. I know how Jackson Dart has provided a spark for New York last week, but it will be his first career road test. Plus, Spencer Rattler has a good chance of securing his first NFL win after losing his first 10 starts. Let's go back to Jackson Dart. One piece of news that flew under the radar is the fact that he got banged up quite a bit last week. Indeed, he hurt his hamstring, a hand, and also got checked out for a concussion. I'm not sure he will be 100% on Sunday afternoon. So far in 2025, the Saints have been competitive in 3 of 4 games. They are at home with a fair chance of winning a game. I think they will do it. 2 awful defenses are facing each other as the Cowboys will play the Jets. So far in the 2025 campaign, Dallas has squandered 33 points per game on average. On the other hand, the Jets have allowed 30 points per game. Ouch! Now the Cowboys have the better offense, so you may think I'll be siding with the Cowboys, but I'm not. I'll go with New York as a 2.5-point underdog. Despite the loss, the Jets did not play a bad game in Miami. They were doomed by 3 costly fumbles, including Braylon Allen losing the ball at Miami's 1-yard line. In the end, the Jets racked up 404 total yards compared to 300 for the Dolphins. In this match, Justin Fields looked crisp and decisive. He completed 20 of 27 passes for 226 yards while accumulating 81 yards on the ground via 7 carries. He will be a big problem for the Cowboys. That being said, Dak Prescott is also likely to cause trouble to New York. But not having CeeDee Lamb hurts. There was no impact last week, but in the long run, that will catch up to them. This is not one of my favorite betting tips, but if forced to bet, I would go with the Jets plus 2.5 points against Dallas. Alert! Alert! The following prediction gets a grade of A. In the Denver-Philadelphia showdown, I am taking the Broncos plus 4.5 points. I really love this bet. If you are a brave man, you could even consider grabbing Denver's moneyline. Here is an unbelievable stat. The Eagles occupy the 28th spot in the NFL in terms of net yards per play. They own a perfect 4-0 record, but their wins occurred by a margin of 4, 3, 7, and 6 points. Granted, they have faced some pretty good teams, but they are not blowing out teams at all. Last week, Jalen Hurts went 0 for 8 in the second half at Tampa Bay. Total yardage was 376 to 200 in favor of the Bucs. To make matters worse, right tackle Lane Johnson and star defensive end Jalen Carter are at risk of missing the contest. Also, A.J. Brown is back to being a distraction for the team. He made a cryptic tweet that clearly suggests he is unhappy with his situation. He wants out of Philly. Last week he was targeted 9 times, but he finished with just 2 receptions for 7 yards. Meanwhile, the Broncos are surging. After a poor game against Tennessee in the season opener, Bo Nix has tossed 6 TD passes versus 2 picks. Courtland Sutton, Marvin Mims, and Troy Franklin each caught at least 4 balls last week. Both J.K. Dobbins and rookie R.J. Harvey were very effective. They have a well-balanced attack with a ton of young talent. To me, they are a team on the rise and they could very well pull off the upset here. Did you know that last week the Broncos racked up 512 total yards versus just 159 for the Bengals? Is that domination or what? Denver's defense is the 5th best in the league in terms of opponent EPA per play. It won't be easy for the Eagles to move the ball, so it seems super unlikely to me that Philly will prevail by 5 points or more. For this reason, I am hammering the Broncos plus 4.5 points. Many bookies have a line of 3.5 or 4, in which case I recommend buying half a point or a full point. Despite the lower payout, I think it's worth the investment here. Good luck, my friend! Will the Dolphins get a second straight win by defeating the Panthers this weekend? I think so. That's why I am opting for Miami's moneyline. Bryce Young continued to struggle. His season completion percentage is only 60%, while throwing 5 TD passes and 3 interceptions. Outside of a big fourth quarter in Arizona, he has been very bad. In the other 3 matches, Young recorded 154, 121, and 150 passing yards. That's despite having a great weapon in rookie wide receiver Tetairoa McMillan. Tua Tagovailoa has not been lighting up the scoreboard, but I trust him a lot more than Bryce Young. Darren Waller made his NFL comeback on Monday night and he surprised us with 2 TD grabs. However, the team lost Tyreek Hill, which hurts a lot. He seemed to be back on track, but his season is now over. Moreover, the Dolphins get a disadvantage from having played last Monday. They are losing 1 day of preparation. And they could be less motivated after playing 3 straight divisional games. Facing the Panthers on the road won't look super exciting to them. Still, I just cannot support Bryce Young for now, so I will take Miami's moneyline. In the Houston-Baltimore game, I'm betting the under. More precisely, I am going with under 40.5 points to be scored. As of now, it appears like Lamar Jackson will miss the game. If he plays, his hamstring injury is very likely to limit him. He's been sacked on 15 occasions so far this year, second most in the NFL, and now he is up against one of the best pass rushing duo, Danielle Hunter and Will Anderson Jr. Houston's defense has been lights out. They have surrendered just 12.8 points per game. They are more vulnerable defending the run, so hopefully they can hold up. But age might finally be catching up with Derrick Henry, who has obtained 50 rushing yards or less in 3 of 4 games. On the other side, will the Texans light up the scoreboard? I don't think so. I am aware of the fact that the Ravens just cannot stop the run nor the pass, and they have multiple injuries on their roster. Still, Houston's offensive line is dreadful. Stroud is often running for his life. Rookie Woody Marks is slowly carving out a bigger role in this offense. He looks good, so the Ravens better pay attention to him. Both teams are desperate, sitting on a 1-3 record. They cannot lose this game. I feel they are likely to be conservative to avoid making critical mistakes. I envision a slugfest, a low-scoring affair, which leads me to betting the under in this matchup. This play is rated B, by the way. Okay, here comes another betting tip receiving a B grade. I am taking the Arizona Cardinals team total to go under 24.5 points. Alternatively, I would be okay taking the Titans with a spread between 7.5 and 8.5 right now, but my official play is Arizona's team total. So far this year, Arizona has scored 20, 27, 15, and 20 points. And yet, as a whole, they have faced below-average defenses. The Saints, the Panthers, the 49ers, and the Seahawks. Only Seattle has looked strong from a defensive side of the ball. Arizona's offense has looked sloppy on numerous occasions. They were sluggish for more than 3 quarters last week before finally waking up, but it was too late. I know that Tennessee's defense does not strike fear into offensive coordinators' hearts, but I think they have what it takes to limit the damage against Arizona. Last week, the Titans were the victim of a shutout, so I expect them to bounce back with extra motivation. If you watched last week's video, you might remember me presenting a good NFL betting system, betting teams coming off a shutout. That was one of the main reasons why I suggested to bet the Falcons to defeat the Commanders. This week, the Titans fit under this strategy that has generated great profit over many years. But I'm worried about their offense struggling so much in 2025. They have scored a grand total of 3 touchdowns in 4 games, which is awful. That's why I prefer to go with Arizona's team total to go under 24.5 points. But if you want to go with Tennessee's point spread, I'm okay with that idea as well. Best of luck, my friend! My next selection is as follows: the Seattle Seahawks minus 3 points. When the week began and I looked at the early lines, I was excited about taking the Bucs in this spot. But the more I analyzed this game, the more I changed my mind. Here is why. First, Seattle gets 3 extra days of rest and preparation after playing last Thursday. That makes a big difference in the NFL. Also, the Bucs will be traveling through 3 time zones to get to Seattle. This matchup features 2 cast-off QBs who found a home with a new team, Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold. Mayfield is often under pressure, but he's been good at avoiding sacks. Still, his offensive line has been a problem. Tristan Wirfs is back in the lineup, which will help the cause. Sam Darnold has been effective as well this year. He has completed 70% of his passes. He is not a world beater, but he plays well under the system. Seattle's defense has been carrying the team on their shoulders for the most part. They have not allowed more than 20 points in any game so far this season. Tampa Bay's fans are probably worried about 3 injured players: Bucky Irving, Jamel Dean, and Hassan Reddick. We're talking about 3 vital pieces of this team. Will they suit up or not? That remains to be seen, so please monitor the situation. If 2 of these guys are out, the pick's grade would go from C to B. Again, I am supporting the Seahawks minus 3 points against the Bucs. The Lions will be traveling to Cincinnati to take on the Bengals. I rarely follow conventional wisdom. I am more of a contrarian. However, in this case, I will go with an option that most people like as well. I am taking over 48.5 points to be scored. Detroit has bounced back very well after an ugly Week 1 loss at Lambeau Field against the Packers. That looked like an anomaly. Since then, their offense has scored an average of 41.3 points per game. Given how weak Cincinnati's defense is, they could exceed the betting total by themselves. I may be exaggerating a little bit, but you get the point. Of course, my biggest concern is the number of points that the Bengals will put on the board. Can they contribute enough to make the over the winning bet? I think so. Detroit's defense has done a very good job overall, but here is the key. few people are aware of the fact that the team may be without its top two cornerbacks, Terrion Arnold and DJ Reed. The latter has little chance of being on the field on Sunday after being carted off last week. Now, will Arnold be okay? It remains to be seen, but he won't be 100% for sure. Jake Browning did a fine job after Burrow went down to an injury in 2023, but he is not getting the job done this year. His completion percentage is poor and he has a 3 to 5 TD to interception ratio. Still, Browning will be at home, which gives him a better chance of moving the ball this weekend. And the Bengals still have Jamar Chase and T. Higgins in their lineup, two superstars. For these reasons, I advise taking the over in the Detroit-Cincinnati contest. In the Commanders-Chargers meeting, I will go with a player prop bet. I'm going to make use of a strategy that has been very lucrative to me across many years. Let's call it the MAD wide receiver betting system. Here's how it goes. Focus on elite wide receivers or tight ends. If, on a given week, they catch an unusually low number of balls, expect his QB to make it up by targeting him very often in the ensuing game. Last week, against a vulnerable Giants defense, Ladd McConkey only caught one ball. I think Herbert will be looking to him very often against another bad defense. Washington's pass defense is 28th in the league in terms of opponent EPA per play via the pass. At the time that I am recording this video, the betting lines on the number of receptions have not been released. But you can be sure that I will be targeting the over for McConkey's number of receptions. For now, this play is rated B, but it's not impossible that I upgrade it to A depending on the line. Here's my plan. I will keep you updated in the comments below. More precisely, I will tell you what the betting line is and how much I like this play. So check out the comments later in the week for more details. Sounds good? Let's go! The Sunday night game is a great AFC East matchup between the Patriots and the Bills. As stated in the introduction, this is where I have found the best wager of Week 5 called the Lobster bet. If you would like to boost your bankroll, sign up at the link below in the comments to gain exclusive access to the high confidence prediction. By doing so, you will receive a PDF sharing the pick along with my supporting arguments. And if the pick loses, you get fully refunded. Please remember that the weekly Lobster bet has posted a 9-4 record since I began offering this service last year. We are trying to win a third in a row here. Later this week, I will also release a video on the Monday night game between the Chiefs and the Jaguars. And I have already provided my top pick on the 49ers-Rams game on Thursday night, which turns out to be a pick rated A. So, as a former professor, I have two fun assignments for you. Check out those TNF and MNF videos, along with gaining insight on my weekly NFL Lobster bet. I'm Professor MJ from Quebec City in Canada. Thanks a lot for watching, and it will be a pleasure serving you again in the near future. Cheers, my bookie crushing friend!